How's everybody's day? Let me do this real quick. We're telling everybody. And now it's not coming up. Well, that's annoying. Oh, yeah, sorry. Oh, what up, brother? Trying to send you the invite. See if you could hit that little button right there with the camera so I could let you join in. Because it is not letting me send. Accept. Live pigeons. Oh, what up, brother?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Pretty good. How's your day?
So far so good, bro. So far so good.
Good. Let me fix this camera a little bit. Go up a little bit higher. Bam. So letting everybody come in. What's up, Speedy Burst? How you doing today? We're going to be doing an interview with Pigeons420, guys. If you guys don't know about this guy right here, he is a very good grower. He's been growing for a very long time, very experienced. As a matter of fact, when I started growing, I was watching his videos. So I got to give this man just props all day long. Peach Grows, what's up, man? How you doing today? Going to be sending out this invite also to everybody. How's your day, Pigeons? What'd you do today?
Man, I had From the Stash today. I was streaming today. Yeah.
Busy day?
Recorded a video. It's been a busy day. Busy day.
Good. You got to get that content made, baby.
That's it, man.
You got to do it, right?
Every day. Every day.
So for those who don't know, Pigeons420 here, he, what up, Lex? Hey, he was not like, you had a regular job, right? At one time. And now you are a full-time content creator,
That's
which
right.
For a lot of us, which is like the dream, you know, we wish we can make it to where you have made it, sir.
Man, bro, consistency over time equals results. And that's it, bro. Just stay at the grind, man. Next year will be my 10th year creating content. So it's yeah, and I've only been doing it full time for 3 years.
Wow. Yeah, for a while there you weren't showing your face and you were on YouTube and only had YouTube content, right? There for a minute?
Yeah, for quite some time it was just YouTube videos, and then somewhere around 2018, that's when I was like, okay, we got to start making some more content and branch out, because YouTube did a mass delete of everybody. And,
I know, that's one of my questions. I got some questions here for you, and I wanted to just jump into it if you're all right with that.
By all means, man, I'm just going to smoke some weed.
Cool. All right, so when I started watching you, I started noticing you showed me the technique of LST, right? For those who don't know, LST is low stress training, right? And I really love the way you do your LST, man. It's very, like, it makes the branches just really strong. And when I first did it and I snapped that membrane, right? I felt that little snap at first. The first time I did it, I felt like I was breaking the plant, I gotta admit. But I remember you saying, don't worry, it'll snap back. And you were 100% right, man. My plants are just loving it. Sometimes I go a little bit too far, which the question is, what is the difference between LST and HST, high stress training? If there isn't.
Well, you know, really, I like to kind of think of it as an abuse factor. When I start to high stress training, I'm really starting to damage the plant itself. I'm starting to maybe destroy or start to manipulate the core, the stem, the membrane as a whole. Whether that's topping, whether that's super cropping, massive bending, you name it. A lot of these techniques can start as a LST and then quickly work their way into being a high stress training, just based on how much aggression, how much force you're going to apply. Yeah,
I seen one of your videos back in the day where you took, I can't remember what strain it was, but it was a very tall plant. And at this time you were keeping them short, and you just grabbed it and bent it over and it turned into a knuckle. And that's what I like to call the knuckle video. And it was just amazing, brother. I could not, like, it blew my mind how it snapped back and it really grew, and it still came out to be a very good
Yeah,
plant,
it was
right?
that was the new dog,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, that was a great strain, great grower. She just got a bit too tall on me and had too much, and I was like, you know what? I know I know I can turn this into something. I ain't giving up on her, and just bent her over, and yeah, that
Oh.
bend turned into, you said it, a knuckle. She was huge.
Yeah, it was like the size of your fist,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah, we
Almost.
pretty close, man. Pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. Also, you also had a sideways pots. I don't know how to, I don't remember what the name of that was, but where it took all the main stock and it just turned, you just grew it to the side. And so all the, the bud size, the colas that would end up being colas just grew up. And that was just amazing, man. And I was wondering what happened to that. Like, have you ever done that since, or?
Yeah, I've grown that style a couple times, at least two times all the way through. And yeah, it's called the tip pot.
A tip
And
pot? Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
it's a neat little like unit, you know. I don't know how practical it is in regards to like a, using in a tent or something, but
Oh,
yeah, if you want to
yeah.
like scrog and you don't want to net, it worked out really, really well. And it's also a great tool to utilize if you've kind of you know, let a girl go too far. She didn't get the training she deserved, and you're kind of looking for another out. It's a great way
Yeah.
to take care of that.
Nice. And would you suggest somebody doing it in a room? Because the tent, it probably wouldn't work, right?
No, I don't think it would. I don't think a tent would work really well, but yeah, definitely in a room. You could probably do a few of them if you had the right size room. Yeah.
Wow. And it would be nothing but colas.
Nothing but colas, man. Just a straight field of colas. That'd be so cool, hey?
God, that sounds so fun. Okay, so you answered that question, pit pot. Okay. What kind of nutrients are you feeding your plants nowadays?
Ventana Plant Science.
Okay, so no more Dutch Pro. That was the last one that I heard that you were using.
Yeah, Dutch Pro dropped all their Western social media marketing people, everything. They
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah. No, I haven't been using them for years.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I still got a bottle of that in there. I bought that back in the day when forget his name, but he was promoting it. Yeah. Okay, so what is the best strain that you have grown so far?
That's a good question, man, and I don't even know if I really have an answer to it, to be honest. Um, I keep
I
growing
know it's
great,
kind of like a basic, it's a kind of a basic question because everybody gets asked this, but
for sure.
like you could always remember one of them
Oh
that's
yeah.
just stuck in
Oh,
your
there's
mind.
always some that stand out. You know, it's like I have a problem of always growing really good wheat. So it's like every time I come up with another one, it's like a new one I grow. It's like this is good. This is the best one. This is the best one. Ones that never fail me are things like the cheese, like a UK cheese, a Bubba cheese. Um,
Bubba
uh,
cheese?
yeah, really, really good
What
one.
is that? Is that a cross of Bubba Kush and
Cheese. Yeah,
cheese?
yeah, if I'm
Okay.
not mistaken. Yep. And then another great one that I just got my hands on, or that I haven't yet grown that I'd love to get my hands on is red Congolese.
Wow. Never
Yeah,
heard of this one.
it's a land race, and it's a
Mm,
it's a it's a good one, man. She's a crowd pleaser for sure.
really?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
And so you haven't grown this one yet?
Nope, nope, no.
Oh,
Every time I
okay.
find it, it's got some very distinct qualities to it that are always very unique, that are always very consistent. I'm like, yeah, I want that. I want that.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. And so, and let's see here. Do you plan on breeding anytime soon?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
do.
because I figured with your experience, like, yeah, you could have had some great genetics if you would have been breeding about 5 years
You're
ago.
so right, man. You're so right. Yeah, man. Yeah, I haven't come up with anything official yet, but I already have one side of the cross. So
Right.
I've already come up with one. I need to find the other one. And let's just say it's taken me years to find that one. So yeah, now I got to find
Really?
another one. Yeah.
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 So has Mr. Grow It helped you with any of that breeding? Because I know you and
No.
Chris are like still collaborating and all that.
Oh yeah, him and I are real tight, man. I talk to Chris quite often. He's a really good dude. I'm thankful for our relationship and friendship. Um,
Good.
but yeah, yeah, no, he's always a source of inspiration and information when it comes to anything in the garden. Um, he'll definitely be a brain that I pick.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm very excited to see what you come up with, and even if I can get a clone in there. So, next question. What would you, so here it goes back into the crossing genetics. What would be your dream genetics to cross?
Oh man, well, I don't know if I've got a specific genetic. The one that I found is gonna be my secret, but I'm definitely looking for like it's got to be gassy, man. I want the fuel. I want that gnarly kind of skunky undertone to it. I really enjoy a euphoric high rather than like a lethargic high. I like
Okay.
one that's going to get my brain to move a little bit rather than slow down. Um,
Okay.
I like creativity, so I'm going to look for something that's going to just spice up a little bit of creativity or kind of yeah, creativity and just like open-mindedness. That's what I'm looking for.
Would you say is more leaning towards the sativa?
Yeah, yeah, it would
'Cause,
lean
the
slightly more
indica
so.
gives you more of that into couch and just like it gets me too spacey. Even me lately, I haven't been really liking indicas too much. I mean, I love indicas. Don't get me wrong. I just don't like to be stupid stoned
Hmm.
to where I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, where am I driving or what am I doing? You know, I'm like, oh shit, I don't want to do that. So I've been starting to go towards the sativa hybrid
Yeah,
more
yeah,
lately.
yeah. I feel you on that. Yep, I get it. And yeah, it is hard these days to get a pure one way or the other. But I do think
Yeah,
with enough work, you can get dominant characteristics.
good. So how are you liking using the trellis?
Bro, it's game changing, man. Should have been doing this
Really?
years ago. I
Oh
should have
yeah.
been doing this years ago. Yeah,
So you're
man.
about to
Yeah.
get the trellis
Yeah.
now?
Yeah. I'm going hard in the trellis. Bro, it's just like it's so easy. I say that and I'm having massive problems in my garden right now. But it's
Me too. Me too.
it is what it is, bro. It's just that's the nature of things, man. But the trellis is so easy. It's easy to just spread the plant out, tuck away until she's ready to flip, and then flip it. It's just you get so much. Like I couldn't believe I grew, my last harvest was a pound, you know, off
One plant,
one
right?
plant. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, I didn't even try, you know.
Damn.
So like, okay, I did try actually. I knew I was gonna. I did try. I knew I was gonna go for the pound, so I can't say I didn't try. I did try, but
Did you
it was
feel
easy.
LSD?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yep,
did. Okay, so you were trellising and
yep.
LST. Okay.
Bending her down, getting her through there. I put her. I can't remember exactly how it went with this one. I can't remember if I started training real early. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay. But it came out well.
Wonderful. That's that
Wonderful.
Dreadnought OG, and it is
Yeah.
perfect. It's a great
Oh,
weed. Great weed,
beautiful.
man. I
Yeah,
love it.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, sir.
It is so satisfying, man. Yes, thank you. 'Cause that coming from someone who can appreciate a good harvest, man. Like you know. And the thing is, it's like it is one of those things that you want to. It's like catching a. I don't know if you hunt or anything, but it's like catching the right game. You know, it's everything went right. You really feel like the stars aligned, and you were blessed. And
Yeah,
even though I
so
earned it or I worked for it, like anything could have gone wrong. And I'm just very thankful it worked out.
good. I'm glad, man. I'm very glad. I personally, I'm still haven't got there yet to where I've used the trellis before, but I just got too many plants in there. I don't do like, well, now with my experience, I could do one plant under some trellis, and I probably could get a pound nowadays. But I like being able to get into the tent and being able to stick my head in, because it's the head bending down thing that I don't like. And I started using yo-yo hangers. Have you ever heard of these?
Yes. Yeah, I see them quite
Yeah.
often, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, they're actually pretty good, except for when you got to take your plant out to give it a flush. Then, you're going to have all the floppage and everything, and then you got to tie the plant up, and it's just
Yeah, that's where it's like that's the same with the scrog. That's where you really need to come up with a device that allows you to or a system that allows you to flush or water your plants while they're still in place. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like you almost need to like I haven't figured it out yet, but we need to figure out something where it's like I guess it's just a drain to waste system where it's like there's hose, you flip
Yeah.
it and it drains the water, and you can water it because I'm almost certain that this is the problem that I'm having right now in my tent is the drain like there's too much water there's not enough runoff. I'm not giving enough
Oh, okay.
runoff. Yeah.
Okay. So we need to invent something for that, because I'm having that same problem, and I want to invent something to where we can do a flush on a plant that is, stuck in place, that can't come out. When you got the trellis on there, for those who don't know, if you have a trellis on your plants, it is not easy taking your plant off of the trellis. Like it's actually almost impossible. Like it is very hard.
It's very
So
difficult. Yeah, very difficult. And it's like it's something that we need to take into consideration. You got to be able to move plants, man.
yeah,
You got and not only you got to be able to move them, but you've also got to be able to water them properly. If you
yeah,
don't like it'd be nice if you didn't you wouldn't have to move them if you could water them in place, right?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
something needs to happen,
Exactly. Okay. Well, I'm gonna get started on that, and I'm gonna figure that one out there for
bro.
you, for both of us, yeah,
Let's
for
do it.
everybody.
Yeah, let's do it.
So,
I'll promote it.
what is the tallest plant that you have ever grown?
It was the Maui Wowie. It was a mistake.
Ooh,
Yeah,
wowie wowie, huh?
yeah. Like growing it wasn't a mistake, but growing it was a mistake. Like I knew what I was doing, but unfortunately, I didn't realize Maui Wowie was like a 13 weeker, man. And I had
In
her in
flower? Or
yeah,
no? Oh my
yeah,
God, in
yeah,
flower?
yep, yep, yep.
Damn.
And so yeah, and so I didn't realize this, and I had her in a garden with a bunch of 9, 10, 11 weekers, and I didn't I just didn't do my homework. It's all me. It's shame on me. There's nothing I can say about Maui Wowie. I never got it to the finish, but that was my own fault, and I didn't do the homework, and so she's a 13 weeker, or like she is late, man. 11 weeks. It's like you got to be like, this is too long, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah. You're
yeah,
thinking you did something wrong.
yeah, that's it. Because I'm feeding her, or like I'm trying to feed her the end of her cycle nutrients, and she's still going hard, wanting to go hard, and so
Yeah.
she ended up being underfed.
Wow.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, when your plant is when it's about to be harvested, it'll start to tell you. I learned this from pigeons, that it'll start to tell you that it's done. Like it'll stop drinking as much water. The trichomes change. The number one thing I noticed though is it stops drinking as much water. And when I noticed that, then I'm like, oh, okay, she's almost ready there. She's getting there. So you're gonna have another week or two after that before harvest. Harvest
Yes.
time.
Yep. And if you can
And
take all those signs together, you can time it perfectly.
yeah. So have you ever grown outdoors?
Have I ever grown outdoor?
Yeah.
No,
Like
no,
outdoor.
I haven't.
You've
Nope.
never done it?
But June 1st is going to be the beginning of my first outdoor season.
Nice.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Can't wait to see that, huh?
Bro, I'm excited and nervous all at the same time because I've never done it before. I want to do outdoor growing real justice because, like, bless good outdoor growers, man. and I want to do it justice. I want to show what I can do, you know, and what can I do? I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited. So I've actually already planted 8 new beans. So I'm gonna get them started and then have them ready to go for June 1st. So they'll already be a fair size.
Nice, dude. That's gonna be amazing. So, well, I just did my first outdoor last year, right?
Okay.
And
Okay.
I know that you grow real big plants in your tents. So just be ready. As advice, be ready because it is gonna get huge. I got maybe 1.5 pounds off of one plant last year.
Where?
Hey, what up? What up? What up?
Whereabouts are you?
Huh?
You're in Phoenix. Where are you?
Oh, I'm in Washington. East side of Washington. Yeah,
Washington. So that's a good growing space.
Oh yeah, we get lots of sun over here on the east side. We're different than the west side. So over here it's basically a desert.
Oh,
so
okay.
we get a lot of sun. With a little bit, almost too much sun. No, there's too much sun. But anyways, my plant came out amazing. I had the fattest colas. I had to take off a lot of, stuff because I always take off all the stuff that I think isn't going to become a cola, right? And so I keep the nugs pretty big. But as big as it got, I was not ready for it. I was not ready for it, but it came out beautiful. The only thing was I did get a little bit of mold on my product. And I think it was from the drying process because I washed the buds off. I did your technique of washing buds. And one day when I put it in the tent, I forgot to turn on the fucking fans. So that one day, I already knew. I knew as soon as I opened the tent and smelt it, just, oh man, I messed it up. But I decided, let me figure it out. Let's see what happens at the end. And so I dried a bunch of it, and some of it wasn't moldy, but there was like an ounce of it that did get mold, and so I had to throw all those 6 ounces away. And it was just like I would have done different. If anything, I would have had that fan on because that was a lot of bud too, man. There was a lot of bud I had to throw away. It was very wrong, and it came out pretty good for outdoor. I thought it came out pretty good.
Good, yeah, yeah. You know, it's a finicky game when it comes to that drying technique. You know, or when it comes to drying process. And yeah, I've molded so much weed, bro. Yeah, a lot of weed. Yeah, it's just one of those. It's one of those things that just happens as a part of like a learning curve, you know.
Okay, because, well, I feel better. I feel better if you've done it a few times. I feel real better than
bro. I've molded so much weed. You have to, like, one of those things that you really need to understand about gardening, or not you, but we need to understand about gardening, is that it is rife with failure. It is rife with misdirection, understanding. You know, it's like it's full of that. But what you'll do is eventually, sure, that's it. You know, that's it. And the thing is that it's like you'll figure out how to navigate all the information by simply trial and error, by getting your hands dirty, planting your first seed, you know, and just seeing where it goes, man, and where it grows. I remember my first plant. I didn't know what I was doing, and it started with a plant on 12 and 12. From the moment I planted the seed to the moment it started producing bud, it was 12 and 12. And well, I learned right away that that's not the right way to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So trial and error, man. Trial and error. Figuring it out. That's the best way to do it.
So I had a question. Where did you learn the technique of washing buds?
I actually before I did YouTube videos, I used to blog, and there was a blogger that I looked up to at the time. Doc Buds, I think was his name.
Doc Buds?
Yep. Like I said, I'm coming up on 10 years now, so this would have been right at the very beginning. And he was a well-respected member of the community that I was a part of. And we you know, people passed around the idea, they challenged it, worked it out, and so needless to say, his like that's where I got it from. In 2014, I figured out how to do the technique, and I'm the guy that popularized it.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean to. It was just a technique that I did to produce good clean weed, and it kind of just spun out of control at that. But everyone just attributes Pigeons420 as the guy that washes his weed, and I don't really care. It is what it is. But yeah, I didn't invent it. Is
Well,
what I'm
I
trying
think
to
of
say.
it. Yeah, I think of it like you did popular. You made it more popular, right? But it is a good technique, and it should have been like that's knowledge that I am trying to get out there. You know, it's knowledge that people should try out, see if it works, if they like it or whatever. You know, it's better to have a big encyclopedia of knowledge than just sticking to what you know. So that's why I think when I heard it, I was like, "Ooh, this is something I want to learn. I want to know. I've never heard of this. I want to figure it out. I want to see. I want to try it for myself." And I did, and I stand by it. Those buds come out good too if you dry them right. Not like I did, and don't mess up, the fan. But if you dry it right, it works, and they come out good. The buds come out good. And when you're looking at the waste or like all the stuff that's crawling around in the bucket, like, oh man, it's a good thing you washed it,
Hmm.
especially outdoor, bro.
Yeah,
I
you're
like that.
absolutely right. Yeah, and that's one thing that I've kind of learned over the years is that outdoor bud, 100%. If you don't have good sealant, or if you don't have a very good seal on your area, your grow space, then yeah, you're probably gonna have to. You're walking in and out of their lots. If you've got pets and animals, yeah, you're gonna end up. This is gonna be for you. But I am noticing now that as I'm growing in a tent, I am getting much cleaner product
Yeah.
just by having a cleaner environment. So I
No.
don't think everyone needs to wash their product. I personally have not washed my product in the 2 or 3 years since I've started growing in a tent.
Yeah.
So,
Really?
yep, yep,
Yeah. I don't
yep.
wash. I don't wash it either until it only like the last one. I tried one time in a tent because I just wanted to try it out. And then when I did my outdoor, I was like, "Ooh, I have that technique in there, and so I'm gonna do it." And it worked, and it was nice. But I think that you need to give yourself a little bit more credit because that technique is spread around because of you. And so, thank you. Sure.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. We've all smoked a bug once or twice. Hey, Mama
Yeah.
Kush. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the
That.
least of our worries.
So can you buy clones in Canada? Or do you clone? Like, I don't, I know
You might,
you've been
yeah.
cloned.
I'm sure you can. Yeah, I'm sure you can. Um, I'm so far removed from that market that or that industry even. I'm not even sure, but I'm sure you can.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Like we're almost fully legal. You know, there's a
Okay.
lot
So
of
yeah, you have
limits,
it
but
like over here in Oregon and Washington too. You can go get some clones.
yeah, yeah.
That's pretty good. Okay. How many weeks would your optimal veg be?
You know, typically I aim for about 10 weeks.
10 weeks. That's good.
Uh,
That's strong plants by
these
10
are
weeks. That's good.
big though, right? These are
Yeah.
big plants. Typically, most people are doing, 8 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
The one that I did last harvest was 12 weeks of veg. Yep. And that's how I got to a pound, man. And as I said, typically in a 10-week period, there's normally like 1 or 2 weeks where I slack off a little bit.
Okay.
And so I always say that I could probably do those numbers in 10 or 11 weeks rather than 12 or 13. So yeah,
Okay.
I'd say 10 weeks though is I'm getting big plants, bro. I'm in no rush to grow weed because I've
Yep.
got a good supply right now. So 10 weeks just keeps things consistent. I get big, huge plants, and I'm happy with that.
Good. Hell yeah, man. 10 weeks, that's a very healthy plant. And I always say that you want some very healthy plants to go into flower. So, and strong, be able to have strong the stem strong enough to be able to hold these colas that you're planning on growing. So I'm down with that one. I go about I'll do about maybe 8-9 weeks personally. It depends on the plant, really. I read the plants. I take what you said, the technique of reading the plant, like that stuck with me because every plant is different. All these plants, some plants can handle LST, some plants can't. For instance, I have this super boof that was not liking the LST. Does not like to get like dried out at all. It's a very finicky plant, but it tastes delicious, amazingly delicious. Everybody loves it. It's a big hit, and so like I'm forced to grow it.
I get
not
it.
forced, but it's really good, and I got to keep it going. But what I found out is the more that I've been cloning it, the more characteristics and the more I've been able to manhandle it a little bit, and it's still being able to handle it. So the more generations, I'd say, what is that called anyways? The more clones that you make, generations. If you clone a clone, is that an F or what is that?
Well, you have. Oh, you're asking the wrong guy. Well, when you breed the first, that and you've got F1s, and then you do that again, you've got F2s.
Okay.
And then you do that. You do that again. That's F3s, and then after that, I believe you have S1s. Now, this is just so far out of my wheelhouse that I'm not the guy to take any word for this.
No, well, it's all good. At least a little bit, because I was wondering that. I was like, what does the F mean? And nobody was able to answer me with a clear, like, just like that answer. So, good. Thank you. And next question. Let's see. Oh yeah. So, for the people who don't know, I wanted the Pigeons to explain, like, can you explain the read the plant and when it's almost to harvest, like when it's almost about harvest time and you got to read that plant and it stops drinking water, and what other things do you look for when your plant is ready?
Well, I guess I'll start from the first. The first thing before you even finish is that typically when you purchase genetics, there's a date, or not date, there's a time frame on the back of 64 days, 69 days, 72 days, whatever, somewhere in that frame, that time frame. That's going to give you a general idea, not a in stone done in 64 days. It's going to give you a general idea of when it's going to be ready to be looked at. Or harvested, depending on what your preference is. So that'll give you a good idea of where you're going to start. 8 weeks, 7 weeks, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, 11, 12, 13. When you start to use your nutrients, for example, if you're using synthetic, there's going to be a chart that you're going to follow, and as you follow your weeks, you could just do it by a chart. Most charts go by 8 weeks, flush on the 9th, or flush on the 8th, or whatever. You can follow that as well. But when it comes to reading the plant, we kind of briefly touched on this at the very beginning when it comes to the watering. You're gonna start to notice that your water intake on that plant is going to be less. She's not growing as much. She's demanding less. She's asking for less, and she's going to take less. So watering is one of the first signs that I notice when a plant's getting ready to harvest. The next is, generally, despite how much, nutrients you're pumping into her, her life cycle's coming to an end. So she's going to start to fade. It might look like a toxicity. It might look like a deficiency. It might look like anything. It could look like a multitude of different things. Yeah. But you'll notice that those leaves are really starting to change color. Some of them are starting to shrivel up. That's another indication. Old school is people used to think that, the receding hairs, your pistils, was a good indicator of what harvest time would be. The thing is that there's a lot of cultivars that are going orange immediately. A lot of those pistils are growing out, and they're getting sexually frustrated. They're not getting any pollen, is essentially what's happening. Yeah. And they're receding. They're going back orange. More coming out, more coming back in. So that kind of faded away. But the best way to determine your harvest is by the trichomes. You are essentially looking for the ripeness of your trichomes to determine what kind of high you're looking for. Generally speaking, the rule of thumb that most people go by is milky is good. The transition is clear, milky, amber. And as you progress further to the amber side of things, you're going to notice that your THC is degrading and it's converting into other cannabinoids that tend to be less desirable. But that's just depending on who you are. Maybe you like the CBNs, the CBGs, the CBDs, rather than the THCs or your CBNs and so on and so forth. So, welcome to the Grow Tank. Good to see you, homie. Woo! So that would be a general, very loose idea of how to read the plants.
Nice. I had seen a picture of, because I was like doing my research on what is 2 amber, right? Like, what is a bud that is just way past its time? And good Lord, I found this one on the internet that was like, it looked gold, and it almost looked like honey. It almost looked like honey, and it was amazing. I was like, wow. I wanted to smoke that to see how, like, what is it? This is way too much CBD. Is all the THC gone? I need to know those questions.
Yeah.
But anyways,
you know what? And I bet you that there are people out there. Actually, no, I know that there are people out there that would love and benefit from amber trichomes, degraded trichomes, if you will. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a good steak, man. Some people like a good steak lightly cooked, not at all, like myself. Other people like it killed, just beat to death, Yeah. So, cooked right through and through, and so everyone enjoys it, right? But it's different for everyone. And it's fair to say, though, that when you go to bite into a pear before it's ripe, it's hard. It's like an apple. That's like getting an early trichome. It's like it might have a little substance to it, but the reality is like it's far more enjoyable if you let it ripen a little bit more. And have you ever done baking with bananas? A lot of people wait until bananas are totally brown to bake with them, right? You don't eat them brown right away, but they're totally degraded. It's totally degraded in it, but it's the best time to cook with bananas or bake with bananas. So there's a preference. It's a scale. It's not a hard cut. What's the best? Where's the best? It's what do you want for what particular occasion and how much, Yeah,
that's why I like to tell all my followers and everything. Like, there's a preference. There's so many different variables in growing weed, and different ways to grow weed, and different harvest times and trichomes. There's just so many different variables that you will almost never get the same result ever. I don't think. I haven't seen it, but if you do, you can. But everybody has their preferences, and it's amazing. I just love it. I love it. There's so many different ways. So, have you ever heard of burp lids? They're these lids that you can, burp lids. They're the lids. I forgot to bring one. Let me go get one real quick so I can show you.
Sure. I'm sure once you bring it in front of me, I'll have an idea of what it is. But no, not off the top of my head.
These are burp lids. They are green lids that have a suction right here, and you take a pump and you pump it. It sucks all the air out. And then you release this a little bit, you move it over, and it sucks brand new air in. Now, this is usually made for canning and other products, for making jelly and, other stuff like that. And I was like, well, why not? Why wouldn't it work for some bud? So I whipped it out, and that's what I've been using to cure my buds. And it works. I like it. It works very well. So I wanted to see, have you ever heard of them, or what do you think about that?
That is conventional. Makes total sense. I'm not like, you do want some air in there, right?
Yeah, no, you let brand new air in.
Okay,
so you just suck
Like it
out all the
seems
old.
genius to me. Like it just seems genius. Like it seems
It,
exactly what you'd be looking for.
it's basically it's. Have you seen what they do with wine bottles at the end of the night at a bar or anything like that? Because they do that to wine. They suck out all the air, and then they get it ready for the next day, and then pop it open and and whatever it
Okay.
is that
Okay.
wine
I'm
does.
sure.
They
Yeah.
spray.
It makes
It's pretty
total
cool.
sense. It makes total
Yeah.
sense.
So there's one for you. I'm hooking you up with that one right there.
Done. Done. I'll check them out. I'll check them out. I'll have my people look into that.
Good. So, what do you think is the future of the industry? I know this is a deep question. I'm sorry, but
No, it's
like,
good. No, I like deep. I'm a philosophical guy. It's positive.
what are
Positive.
it's
I
positive?
really think, yeah, I think it's positive. Of course it is. Although it can only go up from here. We're still struggling with legalities. We're still struggling with legalization. We're still struggling with policy. We're still struggling with
Regulation,
stereotypes. Yeah, yeah, all of it, right?
tax
So
is
everything, everything. So it can only get better from here. I've said this time and time again. Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken, voted no for recreational weed. And I spoke with some people from Oklahoma that said that, yeah, they did. We did vote no. And I thought, why? Well, we disagreed with some of the proposals. And I said, well, I looked through the proposals. I looked through the taxes. I looked through everything. Nowhere in there did I see them say that they were taking advantage of children. Did I see them say that they were going to get into human slavery? Did I see that you know what I mean? Like there was nothing in there that made me think it wasn't going to jeopardize future school development. Like the worst part about it was that they were looking at I think like this is a while ago now, but I think it was like a 15% tax. Yeah, that's atrocious. That's atrocious. But as a Canadian, hold my beer. You want to talk about taxes, okay? But the reality is though is I'd much rather start the conversation and get the ball rolling when it comes to legalization and the regulation of cannabis. And by voting no, we're just putting a huge stamp on that and saying, nope, no more progress, no more moving forward. It's stuck. We're here. It is what it is. Not, okay, sure, this part's pretty good. This sucks, but let's move it through. Let's spend the next, say, 1, 2, 3 years ironing out what this is, see how it works, and then let's challenge what doesn't later. And so I think it's positive. I think that we are going to see more opening, more freedom when it comes to consumption, when it comes to sales. We're seeing lounges pop up now. I think it's going to be great. This is the first industry that's been created that hasn't been dominated by men. So women have an absolute chance at success when it comes to cannabis. I'm sure that there's hurdles in front of them like there are anyone else, but I'm saying that, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. And I think that it's open. It's an open slate. A guy like me has managed to make a living in this industry somehow. You know what I mean? So it's like anybody can do it. And that's what it's affording people today. So
yeah, I like to call it the green rush.
it's
It's gonna happen, and it's like they say that the first person to get rich off of the gold rush in California was the person selling the shovels, right? So like there's so many other things that the industry brings in, the lighting companies, there's so many jobs and so much stuff that I think is just right there, like we're almost there. We're almost gonna touch it. Maybe 2, 3, 4 years probably.
I think you're right. I think you're right. And Dragonfire Genetics, makes a good point. The feds will never allow it here because they still have the ability to run in and shut you down, even if your state has legalized. But here's my point. I think it's actually I actually think it's big. It's not even that big. I don't believe. What's up, Joe? I don't believe it's so much more about the government coming into your home to come take your weed. I think it's more so that the Johnson and Johnsons and the Coke industries and the pharma, your big pharmas are constantly, even alcohol. Alcohol. There was a claim, or there was this headline that alcohol wants to be behind weed,
Yeah.
but come on. Let's face it. There's so much science out there that suggests that people out there who consume weed are far less likely to drink. So
Yeah.
why would the alcohol be?
On that
I
note, like I'm a recovering alcoholic, and smoking weed, like I've always smoked bud, and it's always been my first love. But like it really helped me stop drinking. 16 years I was drinking. I haven't had a drop since, and it's like the best. I'm really against
there's
alcohol personally,
you're
but I
so
don't mind anybody
good
else.
for you. Good for you. As like, I am also clean, 13 years. Um,
Good.
Alcohol wasn't my drug of choice, but anyways,
Congratulations.
this. Thank you, thank you. The thing is that it's the influence and money that these companies are pouring into these governments. It doesn't matter. Pick your side. I don't care. I love talking politics, by the way, so please stop me whenever. I don't care
My
what
wife
side of the
does too.
aisle you're on. Good. And we should be able to talk this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
None of these guys are on our side.
Yep.
I often feel like when we think that we need to focus on the federal government to start legalizing weed, no, that's not true. That's not true. You should be working on almost all of your issues at your local government, your municipal government. At the very smallest level, you should know who's on your town council. You should
Yeah.
understand what they believe in, where their heads are at, what they're looking at to fix your town. Do you have drinkable water? Do you have decent roads? Like these are things that people should be more worried about. We can't change what our president is thinking or going to do, or your prime minister, or your House of Representatives. You know what? You can't change what they're going to do. So it's
Yeah.
like, let just focus on the little things first, and then that will spill over as more and more and more states, as we're seeing, start to legalize. The
Yeah.
federal government's going to be forced. Think of all the money that states are reaping from this. And
Sure.
and there's gonna become a turning point where someone with common sense that's under the age of 109 is gonna be like, did you realize that we're losing so much money to state
Billions,
level
trillions,
you know
trillions
what
of
I'm
dollars.
saying?
Could
Someone's
be
gonna be
true.
like, it's gonna go like this, where it's like all that pharmaceutical influence, all that alcohol influence, whatever it is, it's up here for now, but there's gonna become a tipping point where it's like green is going to be bigger, and then it's gonna happen where all of a sudden someone's gonna be like, yep, all right, get rid of this influence, let's work with this
Yep.
influence.
Facts.
So and this isn't gonna get bigger, this one's getting smaller because people are starting to realize that shit, I don't need lorazepam to fall asleep. Shit, I don't need, morphine to ease my pain. Oh shit, I don't need, you know what I mean? Radiation to help me get over cancer. I
I
can
don't need
use weed.
alcohol to drain my sorrows.
You're not wrong, man. So it's like people are starting to realize this, and the more and more they're going to be less dependent upon these other resources. So there will be a turning point. There will be a turning point.
Good. Good.
We got to focus
So this
locally. That's the point of my story. That you got to focus local. Take care of your
good.
family, friends, and community first.
Remember that, everybody. Remember that. So this is my questions are jumping around here now. But what advice would you give a new grower? Like, what is your number one thing that you would say? I know about patience, but
Yeah, patience is number one. You got to have patience, but it's kind of like a code of life. You got to have patience when it comes to life because we're always waiting for something. You'll start to realize that your whole life you're actually waiting from the beginning to the end. You're waiting for something, so you may as well have patience. A new grower, you definitely need to understand that this is not a get rich quick scheme. I've said this before. This is a, you know, a put in hard work and reap the benefits of your blood, sweat, and tears game. And, you know, be ready for it to be a rabbit hole. You know, you aren't going to just jump into this and think, wow, okay, I'm going to grow a plant on the windowsill and it's just going to be fine. No,
Yeah.
it's going to
Yeah.
consume your life. You're going to have a tent. That tent's going to lead to two tents. Those two tents are going to lead to a room. That room's going to lead to the best state-of-the-art equipment. That best state-of-the-art equipment is going to lead to your divorce. That, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's game changing, man. Gardening is something that you must start doing, whether it's gardening your own weed, whether it's growing your own tomatoes, like whatever. You gotta get time on the mat when it comes to providing for yourself. And when it comes to weed, there's just this next level of satisfaction that comes from just harvesting and benefiting from your hard work. So take it in and embrace it. That's what I would say.
Yeah, for the new growers, man, there is nothing like smoking your own bud. And your first one that really comes out really good, oh man. It like I got lucky and I grew something when there was Humboldt seeds. It was called Blue Fire. And this plant was almost seven feet tall. I didn't know about topping. I didn't know about training or anything. But this plant like was dominating me, and I had an old CFL light, 600 watt. Yeah, and it was going past the light, so I didn't know what to do, so I just cut it off and let it grow. And so everything, all the buds, but they were so fat, and it was so good. It came out so fucking good. I wish I could get that genetics back. Like you just came out with an episode saying to clone your plants. If I would have known about cloning, that would have been the one that I would have cloned, man. Oh God, I wish I could get those genetics.
I've been there. I've been there. I get it.
Man. Okay, next question. So, does the scope? This was a little deep too. Does the scope, or like how many lives you have touched through YouTube and all these videos? Has it hit you yet? Do you feel how much knowledge you have spread, how much, you know, joy too, man? Shit, your videos, your content on Twitch, most of all your content is really good, and it's always uplifting and brings people up. Whoopity whoop. I'm always telling people about you. But do you just like, do you understand how many people you touched?
You know, it's funny. Like, no, of course not. I don't think I can really fathom that.
Not to trip you out. I don't mean to, like, you know, put pressure or nothing on you.
It's pretty amazing, man. I've been through a lot of shit in my life, and since I've been doing YouTube, I've been through a lot of shit, and time in and time out, my community has been there for me. And I have, in my opinion, done nothing to really afford or really deserve the level of respect that I receive. Because it's like I'm just a guy, man, that puts vidges on the internet, and I smoke weed, bro. I'm telling you. So it's like, no, but when I go to, I remember go to MJ BizCon, and I remember when someone, it was Freedom Flower, Freedom Grower, and I think that was his name. Him and his wife came up to me, and they looked me in the eye, man, and the love and the amount of, you know, just respect, and it just felt incredible having someone shake your hand and say what you just did, you know, and how I've impacted their life and I've changed. It's just incredible, man. It's really incredible, and I really don't think it'll really ever really set in, because, you know, it's amazing that it's worked out this way. And I'm just waiting to wake up and realize that this has all been a dream, bro. So
it's true, man. This is all you, Pimpin'.
Yeah.
All you.
So I'm just in for the ride, bro. I'm just in for the ride. I'm just like thinking the whole time, like, don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up.
I say that too. I say that because, like, a lot of people, they get a hold of me all the time, and I'm helping people out, and I try to tell them, you know, I try to help them with their plants, and I've gotten one person that I helped grow, Freddie Foggy, on here. Shout out to that guy. He actually is growing in a facility now, and he's taking it professional. And you know, there's that things come with professional, but it changed his life. This guy he put his passion into it. And when I can feel that there's passion between somebody, like in their heart, that's when I'll give them all my attention to try to make them, you know, blossom and become the person that they need to be, because everybody has potential. Even through the shit that we've been through, all the shit, I don't care where you've been or what you've done. If you got the potential to grow weed, I will help you. And I will try to my hardest to get you into it, you know? And when I see people who actually make a living out of it, or, you know, doing something that they love and getting paid, I'm just so glad about that, man.
It's an incredible feeling, man. And you know what? Like, anyone can do it, bro. Double down, and just think long and hard of what you can provide to whatever it is you do. And when you figure it out, do it and run with it. And it's gonna feel uncomfortable, and it's gonna be insecure, and you're gonna be full of anxiety. But that means you're on the right track.
Good. So I wanted to give Rob a shout out on here too. Let him know. Tell Rob I said what's up.
I will. He's a great guy.
Remind him, get on here. Just remind you, you're killing it as usual. I want to let everybody know. About your other stuff that you're doing from the stash that you got going on. You got Highly Motivated, which is you and your brother. Is it, or who is that you're talking with?
I get that a lot. No, that's
it looks like you.
I know. We get that a lot. Like a lot. Almost every time we're in public together, someone's like, "You guys are brothers?" No, we're not even related a little bit. He's a good friend of mine from high school. We linked up later in life. Jesus, probably 9-10 years ago now when we linked up again. And he owns Black Tie Cannabis. They were actually in the chat when we first started up. But he'll be running back and forth. Yeah.
Okay.
Black Tie Cannabis. His website is blacktiecannabis.ca. I think that's right. You check that out. He's a dispensary owner, and him and we were like, you know what? We're both in the industry. We're like both in it, and we're like, we have to sit down and start talking shit. And so we did, and the audio on that channel has pissed me off the entire time because it's been absolutely atrocious. But
you'll get it though.
We did. So I invested in some very expensive lapel microphones. That's not a flex. That's just I should have invested in this in the first place. But anyways, I was trying to run this off of like a $50 microphone.
Humble brag.
Yeah. But we got some good mics finally, and it's just a huge shout out to everybody who put up with that for as long as it did. So it's good now. That's Highly Motivated.
Also, for everybody else, he has a YouTube channel also. Well, check out his YouTube channel, and you have a clips channel, but you haven't uploaded anything on there in a while, right?
No, I'm still in the search of trying to figure out what's going on with that channel. It's going to get a facelift, but I'm not sure what's happening to it yet.
I hope to see you one of these days at MJ BizCon. I'm thinking about going over there one of these years. I'm going to hit you up over there. Also, what was I going to ask you? Is there any of that footage of the knuckle? Like, do you have any of those old videos without your face? Like, have you been thinking about reposting them? Or I know YouTube's tripping, so is there any way that you could put it on like your Discord or?
Well, I actually right now it's behind a paywall. So for $2 a month, it's on my Patreon.
Okay.
Like that video in particular, it's a fan favorite. It's on there. I have thought about putting stuff on Rumble. That's up in the air still, so it's a possibility. But I don't think I've heard
of Rumble.
It's an alternative to YouTube that's trying to promote.
Okay, I don't mean to cut you off, but we only got 20 seconds left, so we got to wrap this up.
That's it, brother. Hey, thank you so much, man.
Anytime,
sorry, you go.
Brother. Anytime. You were been great, and hopefully we get to do this again, huh?
We certainly will, brother. Anytime, man. Thank you for being an awesome host.
What up, everybody?